I came from a background of construction, zero sales experience at all. The other great thing about Family First Life is the sharing of knowledge. No one guards knowledge here.
Hi everyone, and welcome to our weekly podcast, The Climb. I'm Tiffany Grunberg at Family First Life Cascades, and we are super excited this week. We have Dean Pavlic, who is an EVP for Family First Life Shield, right?
Yes.
I've worked with Dean now, we've been working together for like 3 years.
More than that, I came on board right at the beginning of 2018.
Yeah. So it feels like forever, but a short period of time, which I know is very contradictory, but that's how it works. And I'm excited to sit down with Dean because I think one of the best things about this business is being able to really work with people that go through different avenues of this business, not just on a production side, not just on a business building agency side, but on a life side. And I think Dean's story is one of my favorites, to be honest, because I don't know that you share it all that much, which, because Dean's a genuinely humble person, but it's true. You speak 3 languages, like English is your 3rd language, is that right?
English is my 3rd language. I'm originally from Bosnia.
Okay.
And when I was about 6 years of age, I migrated to Germany because of a war-torn country. So I spent some time in Germany growing up in my childhood years, and then we came to the U.S. 24 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, and he legitimately speaks fluently Bosnian, correct, and German. I've heard him, and to me, that's amazing. That's just absolutely amazing. So tell me, one of the big things, Dean has always been a high producer, right? So can you share a little bit, I like to do the hindsight, right? Because it's always 2020.
Right.
Can you give me a snapshot, dig back to your first month. Tell me what that first month in this business looked like.
Oh, wow. My first month, it was tough because I was so green to this industry, and I had no idea what I was getting myself into. When I was introduced to it by Luke Bohach, I was like, this is a pyramid scheme business. What is going on?
What is happening?
I don't want to do this because I've tried multi-level marketing industries before. I'm like, this is not my style. But when he explained to me that it's about the client requesting coverage information, whether it's mortgage protection, at that time, Tiffany, you know as well as I do, we didn't have final expense. We didn't have internet direct leads as much. We had mortgage database, and I was stuck on working that.
Yeah.
And for me, I was like, I just had to figure out how to pay my bills, Tiff, because when I came into FFL at the end of 2017 and into 2018, my vehicle got repossessed.
Yep.
I had nothing left in my bank account almost, and I had to make it to convention in Dallas, and that's when we first met.
Yeah.
It was in Dallas, Texas.
Yep, I remember.
And what changed for me, Tiff, it was really tough. My first month being around here was I just needed to figure out how to make it work. And I remember very well, we were sitting in a small conference room. Matt Smith brought everybody in there. I mean, FFL Northwest overall was a very small agency at that point in time. And I kept, in my head thinking man, this is nice. People are getting recognized, awarded for their hard work, bonuses. And I'm sitting here, I literally had my hands in my pocket, and I tucked my head down for a brief second. I said, I can't live like this anymore. I gotta take this opportunity and run with it. And when I did, it was just like everything's now behind me, and we're here to this point. And all I knew was how to go to work. I watched my father go through a lot of adversity and work in multiple different countries as well. And I adopted a lot of work ethic from him and my mom. And then also being exposed to being an independent, 1099 or a previous job, I already knew how to control my schedule. I just had to dive right into it. So for me, Tiff, it was the first 2 months, January, February of 2018, I tried to make it work part-time. It didn't work out.
Yeah.
I went to convention and I said, I have to be all in or not in at all. And when I went my first week full-time in, I already paid my bills because of this opportunity. And the rest was just more of a learning curve and figuring it out. And then eventually, I think my first month, I probably helped around 15, maybe 20 families off of 3-year-old leads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing that, and by the way, Dean's story is unique because it's his, but the outcome isn't as unique here at Family First. And that's what I fell in love with here, was watching people come in who were skeptical and didn't necessarily believe in the process or the system. And at that point, when I started, we didn't have a system, let's be clear. There was no system.
No, it was
we were tripping and falling and picking ourselves up. It was awesome. And to watch people come into that and get great and change their entire life circumstances. And it's something that I did. It's something that Dan did. Dean and so many of the people we now consider family at Family First Life that have done. So let me ask this, Dean, when you started versus now, okay? Because Dean's had so much growth. So many people have. But when you started versus now, can you share with us your process? And we'll talk, I think, field, because people always like to know, what you're doing in the field. Share with us the process that you follow and how you've adapted it. Because I know Dean is a mover and a shaker, man. If he doesn't like where he's at, they pick up and move, right? Him and Shauna, which is awesome. It's terrifying for me. But so tell us your process. How does your process work? Buying leads, getting in front of people, how does that work?
So real simple. The system we had, we didn't have much of a processing system in the beginning, but the system at home was the same. That never changed.
Yes.
So I kept that identical across the entire roadmap, right? I just had to follow that exact path that was already created by, agents prior to us coming on board. So I stuck with that. Only thing I had to really, really change from there to now, I had to develop a schedule, which I think a lot of people have a tough time with.
Agreed.
They don't have a schedule.
Agreed.
They run around, they yo-yo it around a lot, and they think they're busy, but they're really not. There's a lot of white space on their calendars. When I started creating a schedule, and I told myself I gotta follow it from Monday through Sunday religiously, things changed.
Yeah.
My business went up, my production went up, I was busy, I talked to a lot of people, talked to a lot of clients, and before you know it, time goes by, but you're evolving, you're growing with that change. And I think the biggest thing too for me, it matured me a lot in this business. I came in this business, a little bit of a rough mindset, because I was always rebellious. If you knew me from before my social media posts, I didn't care what anybody thought. I would speak my mind. I would do a lot of things. I didn't have a business mindset. Now I do, and I learned so much from not only Matt Smith directly and all the leaders in Northwest, but leaders across FFL platform in general.
Yep, me too, for sure.
You can plug into anything and everybody and you'll learn something. And that's one of the biggest things. You learn to humble yourself really fast.
Yeah.
And sticking to the system. Don't change it. Don't reinvent the wheel. It's perfect. It's like taking a spoke out of a perfect wheel and you put something of your own. What's going to happen? The wheel's just going to have bumps in it and you're going to fall off the road. Keep it level, keep it even, keep it simple as possible. This business is very simple. One of the things I've learned was it's the most simplest business we have.
Yep, I agree.
What's hard is your mindset.
Yeah, and I think one of the key things that Dean said that I find the most powerful is when you get to control your schedule, when you get to a point where you own it. Because I think so many people pretend to own their schedule, but in reality, they don't, right? They're giving away time when they know they shouldn't be. But what Dean was saying was when you get control of your schedule, because that's really, your activity is what you can control, right? Attitude and activity, that's 100%. It. When you control those things and you put yourself into a position where you are truly being accountable to yourself and you've shared with all of the humans in your life that this is what you're doing, I promise you the process becomes so much more simple.
100%.
And we try to teach that, and it's the horse that we continue to tell you to hop on and ride, because that is 100% what happens. So one thing that we've spoken about, and I think one thing that we do and we try to continue to do on the climb is talk about the realities of our business. It is not all cupcakes and ho-hos all the time, but how do you handle the loneliness in this business? Because it does get lonely, and lonely in ways that you think lonely because you're not physically with someone and you're not working in an office environment. It gets lonely because success is lonely, I think. Failure is lonely. Being stagnant is lonely.
Yes.
How do you handle being lonely in this business?
I think it comes down to being surrounded by the right individuals, in my opinion. Whether it's family, whether it's friends, whether it's business partners. If you feel like you're stuck, you're lonely, and you don't have the right support, and just reach out to somebody that is going to relate to what you're going through.
Yeah.
We're not perfect. We all went through all similarities of adversity in this business, and then we can always share it. I'm sure you and I, Tiff, can bring up something that we share, whether you're stuck growing an agency or you couldn't help a client or whatever the case is. Figure it out together, and that's what I love about it. People will actually take time to talk to you about what it is that you need to get ahead of. And number two will be your why.
Yeah.
Why are we here? Why? Like, one of the things I've never understood, Tiff, is somebody gets a life insurance license and they frame it, literally, and they don't use it.
Just sit there and stare at it because it's fun.
I call those bench warming cheerleaders in a way, because why are we here?
Yeah.
You said you want to hustle, you want to work, you want to change your life, your family. Like, why are we not doing it? It's not difficult, but I think it's a lot of self-reflecting, it's a lot of negative talk within yourself. I can't do this. I cannot be a Tiffany. I cannot be a Steve Giordano. It's a lot of things. When we see top producers like that, you don't have to be them.
Right.
Be yourself.
Yes.
For whatever reason you need to do. Focus on your goals. My goal is just to learn how to pay my bills. When I learned how to do it in 1 week, I was like, this is crazy. I'm going to keep working.
Yeah, I'm going to keep doing that.
More and more came about, and then our lives started changing. In 6 months, we moved from one house to another. 2 years later, we moved from one state to another. A year and a half later, we moved from one state to another. I wouldn't be able to do any of those things if it wasn't for this opportunity.
Yeah.
And it's not difficult. I always say we have a license to print money for ourselves, pretty much. But the rewarding part is how many people request us behind that.
Yeah.
It's truly
how many
phenomenal.
people can you help?
We don't have to beg. They beg us.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it primarily. That's how I keep myself out of the lonely shell.
Yeah.
I focus on my why. I surround myself with people that want to motivate me, and I can motivate them at the same time to push through all the adversity we have.
Yeah, I love what you said, Dean, about I reach up, okay? Because so many of us complain down instead of reaching up when we get lonely. Yes. And there's so much, man, if you take anything from that, hold on to that statement. Please reach up. Don't complain down, reach up. Find those people in your world, in your atmosphere, in your environment that will bring you up to them. Because that's what it means in this business. And that's what we work so hard to do for everyone we get the opportunity to work with, every client that we get the opportunity and are blessed to sit in front of and help their family. And it really is about reaching up. And Family First Life, I've never been in an environment where people are rooting for everyone so honestly. And I love that you said that. So really quickly, lastly, what do your parents are immigrants, correct?
Yes.
How do your parents feel about what you've achieved?
I think if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be in this position right now, because they were my first motivators. Here's a true story. When I was actually flying to the conference in Dallas in 2018, I freaked out. It's my first time I had anxiety hit me, and I was in a layover in Atlanta. I was supposed to share a hotel room. I already didn't have enough money, but I was supposed to share a hotel room with somebody. They didn't show up, and I was like, I have nowhere to go. I have no money. I started panicking. Have you ever been to the Atlanta airport?
Yeah.
It's the biggest airport in the world, by the way.
It's massive.
And I didn't realize there was trains from one gate to the other. I skipped the trains. I was pacing, dripping in sweat of anxiety to the other terminal. And the whole time, Tiff, I kid you not, I had my phone in my hand, and I looked at my bank account. And I stared at it. And I was like, what? Like, I can't go.
What am I doing?
I was looking at rental cars to drive back 8 hours from Atlanta to Virginia because I didn't want to go. I called Shauna. She said, calm down. You can do this. I've been to many of these conferences. They're powerful. You learn a lot. It's going to fire you up. like, let me call my dad. Let me call you back. I gotta call my dad. The first thing my dad says, you're gonna be great at this.
Oh.
And I never looked back. And I was like, I got the okay.
Oh.
And literally, like, I went right at it, and I learned so much. Those 2 days I was there, and I was like, these people are nothing special.
Yeah.
They're just regular people on stage doing something that was just, they had the right vehicle that they were in. They just had to take control of it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I did that, I came back. I was fired up. 2 weeks later, I quit my job. The rest is history.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I appreciate everything that you do and the training that you pour into us, and you know, your media is awesome. I love it. It makes me happy every time I watch it. I love Shauna and the puppies, and we just appreciate you so much. Thank you guys for spending time with us here at The Climb. Remember, every day is going to throw you something different. Move around those rocks and keep climbing forward. Have a great day, guys.
Thanks, guys.